Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This video is going to be a little different than everything else on my channel. I'm going to be doing a little book review today on this terrible, horrible, no good, very bad book. I literally don't have any structure for this video. I don't have any sort of script or list format written out. So I'm probably just going to ramble for like half an hour and then just figure out what I can salvage from that.
Oh my god.
So the book we're going to be talking about today is Say Anything by Sarah Dessen, and I read it because my friend recommended it to me. She was like, oh, this book is kind of goofy, but like if you need just like a cheesy thing to read, like here you go. And even that description is giving this book too much credit. This book is so bad. The writing style is like what I would have written in 7th grade. It thinks it's so smart, but it feels the need to like over explain all of its metaphors, and even the metaphors that it doesn't explain are really convoluted and don't even make that much sense. I don't have anything marked out in this book, but honestly I feel like I could just turn to any page and find something cringy, but we'll do that in a little bit. So the plot of this book is very much non-existent. Basically, this girl Sydney has a brother. His name is Peyton, and Peyton goes to prison because he hits this kid David with his car when he's like drunk driving, and David doesn't die, but he just gets like paralyzed. So Peyton goes to prison and Sydney feels like really guilty about everything her brother did, but like her parents seem to support Peyton and act like everything is normal. They come from like a really rich family, and so basically Sydney is like,
I just want to escape from this stupid place.
So she stops going to her preppy fancy private school and decides to go to the public school, and there she meets, what are their names?
The Chathams.
I'm just gonna read you this paragraph on the back of the book. Fortunately, Sydney finds solace with the Chathams, the family who owns the local pizza shop. There's Layla, who welcomes Sydney with open arms, mysterious Rosie, who has secrets of her own, and Mac, quiet, protective Mac, who makes Sydney feel safe and secure. As she's drawn into their chaotic circle, Sydney is finally able to focus on what really matters: friendship, love, and most importantly, herself. Let's go over each of these descriptions. The Layla one's pretty on point. She does welcome Sydney with open arms. I literally have no clue why I laughed at that. Like, what was I even thinking? She's probably the best character in this book, but even then, she's just like kind of
annoying.
But where it starts to go a little haywire is mysterious Rosie, who has secrets of her own. This is just stupid because I think like right after we meet Rosie, Layla makes it clear that she was a great ice skater, but then she had drug problems, so she got kicked off the team, and that's literally her entire story, and the character's not fleshed out any further. She's like barely even a character. She doesn't even have like an arc or anything. She's just there. Like, I guess the arc you could kind of give her is one scene where she goes like back to the skating rink and she's like, ooh, I can skate. But like even then, it's just pretty much non-existent. And then Mac, who is the spicy love interest, he's just like very boring. And there's this whole thing where like he lost weight, like he got really hot or whatever. She has this thing where Mac has this pendant, and when he was, you know, obese, it like choked him, and literally every time Sydney mentions the thing, she's like, I can barely imagine the pendant like choking him, and it mentions it so much, and I'm like, yeah, I understand that you're trying to give this character depth, but it's really not working out, and it just comes across as like being really kind of rude and insensitive to people who are overweight, and also just like, it's just poor writing. Like, why are you just like spelling this out for me? Literally, this is his entire character, said he was like fat and now he's skinny. Like, who cares? Like, this book has no plot. There's like a sort of climax, there's an antagonist, like, but even then she says he's creepy. Like, there's no evidence really to show that he's creepy, and also the only reason that the reader thinks that he's creepy is because the main character is constantly telling us that they are creepy, which is just like so annoying. Like, do something to show us, like let us know why this guy like scares you or creeps you out, until the last scene where, spoilers if anyone cares, I don't know why you would because this book is terrible, but if you care, here's a spoiler. She's trying to leave the house and he like tries to hold her down and kiss her, which is definitely very creepy, and if that had happened before this, the character would be way super duper justified in calling him creepy. But before that moment, which is literally like 20 pages before the book ends, maybe even like 10 pages before the book ends, we have no like real reason to think that he's that creepy. We're just like, oh, she's uncomfortable around him, that's fine, but we don't know why. Like, we just know that like, it just, I don't know, it's just bad. Now we're gonna have a little fun. We're going to read the first page, then I'm just gonna pick a few random pages in here and just critique them, because this book is literally that bad that I don't even have to mark anything. I can just turn to a random page and find something terrible. It was just occurring to me that I should be embarrassed when I felt Mac's hand on my shoulder. "Hey," he said. His palms were warm. It's okay, Sydney." But it wasn't. Nothing had been okay. Not for a long time. And every single moment that I thought I was getting close seemed to remind the universe that I didn't discover that. Not yet. What was due me then? Only tiny seconds where things felt right. Just fleeting enough to make me crave more. Was that it? I was beginning to think so. That I just couldn't get what I wanted. That maybe I didn't even have any idea what that was. But as Mac turned me to face him, and I looked up into his eyes, I realized I was wrong. So I took a single step, one foot, then the other, and then his arms wrapped around me, pulling me in the rest of the way. This is at the beginning of the book. I literally did not even remember that this section existed, and honestly I couldn't tell you when this happened in the book, but like, I don't even know what to say about this first page. I don't know why it's here. I don't know what the other point is, other than the author was really proud of herself when she wrote this, and she wanted everyone to know that she was really proud of herself. Like, I don't know what significance it has, other than, oh, here's the sloppy introduction to the fact that there's going to be love interest, ooh. Like, that's pretty much it. Would the defendant please rise? This wasn't an actual question, even though it sounded like one. I've noticed that the first time we'd all been assembled here in this way. Instead, it was a command, an order. The please was just for show. My brother stood up. Beside me, my mom tensed, sucking in a breath. Like the way they tell you to inhale before an x-ray so they can see more. Get it all. My father stared straight forward. As always, his face impossible to read. That's our first page. And already, I feel like this is pretty telling for the entire book. Now, we know that this book is going to be poetic because she's already giving us a really awkward and convoluted metaphor with like the way they tell you to inhale before an x-ray so they can see more. Get it all. It's not related to the scene at all, and it's just kind of a super weird metaphor. I honestly don't have any good critiques for this book. It's just so terrible, and I don't even know if I can put it into words why it is so bad. It just is. And we know that it's going to be edgy for, you know, those depressed girlies out there. Would the defendant please rise? This wasn't an actual question, even though it sounded like one. Don't even know what to say about this book. It just speaks for itself. It is so bad. It literally sounds like something I would have written in 7th grade and thought was like the best thing ever put to paper, but it's not. This was written by like a 30-year-old woman who's a professional writer and has written tons of other books. She's written like 13 novels. I think that's her most recent book. So this has to be like probably one of her best written books. If this is like her best writing, I don't even know. Okay. So now we're just gonna open up to some random pages because you could open this book to any page and you would find a terrible excerpt. So we are going to open to this page. Ooh, here's the thing. I literally just opened to this page right here. Like, you watched me open to this page, but we're already in this uncomfortable thing. This is the guy I was talking to about. His name is Ames. Oh my god, I totally forgot what his name was. So, for some context, Ames is the creepy guy that we were talking about, who we don't really know why he's creepy. He just is. Basically, her parents were away for a weekend, so he's like a super close family friend because he had like helped her brother out in rehab before he relapsed. So, they're just like really good family friends, but you know, she hates him. So, the parents were like, oh, can you stay for a weekend and watch her daughter? This is like after that weekend, he's at the house and he just saw Sydney. I hated the hugging. It was relatively new, having been instituted after the week he'd stayed with me. There was really no way to turn down a hug without looking like a mean person. That's not what it says. It says something profane, but we're good Christian girls here. And these were particularly squeezy and long. Here's what my problem is. The author doesn't go in depth as to why what he does is wrong or why it is creepy. She just says, this is wrong, this is creepy. And although, yes, the things he does are creepy, it makes it more easy to sympathize with Ames. She doesn't explain why she's feeling this way. She just says this is how she is. But she doesn't say why this is what she is feeling.
Alright, so I know I wasn't making like a ton of sense here, but basically what I was trying to say is that this woman has a lot of young, impressionable readers, and I feel like it's important for her to really go in depth with her characters and let us know why we should feel the way we do about something, which she does with her metaphors to an aggressively annoying extent, actually, but she doesn't really do with her characters at all. Her characters are very cardboard and plain, and that's basically what I was trying to say.
Now, let's open up to another random page. Let's go closer to the end. Let's go to this page right here. She basically starts working for the Chatham's pizza place, and she goes on deliveries with Mac, who is like the love interest. She basically does it because she's like,
Oh, well, you know, I just like to see like a glimpse into people's lives. Like, I just really like delivering pizzas because like you just get to see, and like when you know what they order, like you just know like a little bit more about their lives.
and I'm like, oh my god, you're literally delivering pizza. Take a minute, sit down. I would be fine with this if it was a little self-aware, but it's literally not self-aware at all. It takes itself so seriously, and it's like, delivering these pizzas, I've caught a glimpse into millions of lives. She feels like everyone has been staring into her life with her brother's trial. I'm invisible, you know?
I'm not like other girls.
I'm so glad that I randomly opened to this page, because this page has a direct correlation to the title of the book on it. So basically what's happening is Mac and Sydney are dating at this point. Basically, this pendant that he wore that like used to choke him when he was like chubby, he like found one that looked like it, and so he's giving it to her. And they're talking about the saint that's on the pendant. Who is it? I asked. No idea. I found it in a jar my mom has full of them, he said. I was looking for one like mine. Then just someone I recognized. But then I thought maybe it was cooler to have one be a mystery, you know? So it's not just about one thing, but about anything. That way it can be about what you want. First, we haven't even finished reading this excerpt. No one talks like that. Even like poetic people or whatever. No one freaking talks like that. I don't even know. This book is just so preachy and annoying, and all its metaphors are like so heavy-handed. Except when it comes to characters, she's so bad at developing them and showing us why we should feel the way we do about them. She just tells us how to feel and not why to feel that way. But then when it comes to metaphors, she freaking over-explains them and makes them so convoluted, and just, it's so poorly written. Okay, let's continue. I turned it over to my hand, like the image on the front. The back was well worn. The few words there were unreadable. Say anything. I looked up at him. I love it. Thank you. And like, that's literally it. It's literally just a pendant. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't recognize the saint that's on this pendant, so it could mean anything. And, oh, like saint anything?
Oh my god.
That's what we're dealing with this book. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the last page of this book. The big dilemma with this book is that her brother goes to prison for hitting his kid David with his car. And the main character is so morally affected by this that she spends so much time reading over this article and doing all these things. For some reason, she doesn't go to talk to him. On the last page of the book, she finally decides to go. And I don't even know why they made this such a big plot point in the book. It doesn't even like have this big conversation with the kid until the end of the book. This is how the book ends. Start with I'm sorry, Miss Chatham had told me, standing there, facing him. All I could think of was another beginning. In that courtroom so many months ago, the judge asked something. Would the defendant please rise? And what followed was for me, Peyton, my parents, Mac, Layla, all of us. One long ongoing answer. It seemed only right that now, here, I posed a question of my own. I'm Sydney Stanford, I said. Can I come in? I probably should not have thrown that because that's not my book, but I just had to do that for dramatic effect. At the beginning of the book, you literally said that it wasn't even a question. You said that it was a demand to be like, can the defendant please rise? And again, that metaphor does not even make sense. What is your ongoing answer to would the defendant please rise? This book just gets me so worked up because it's so terribly written. I know this has probably been quite a ramble and a little bit of a mess to watch. I probably struggled a lot editing this video, but I just want to tell you my final thoughts on this book. Basically, what I just want to say in this a really friggin' weird unscripted book review thing that I will probably never do again. This book seems like it was written by a middle schooler who was really self-confident and thought that this was the best thing ever written. All of the metaphors are convoluted and extremely heavy-handed and really just don't even make that much sense. And all of the characters are not fleshed out at all near the extent that they should be. For some reason, the author of this book finds this video somehow and watches this. I don't even know what I would say to you. This book is just really bad. There's so many things that I didn't go over. Like, this book is a bad book. I subjected myself to it. I read the 400 long meandering pages and I am done with it. I made it through. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want more wacky book reviews, even though I'll probably never make one of these again. Have a good one. Read some not terrible books. Maybe skip the next Sarah Dessen book. I don't know. If you love this book, let me know why. Give me a counter argument, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.